Welcome to the Intern Whisperer Live, the show all about internships and how to survive them. This is Jerron.
This is Val.
This is Isabella.
And on our show this evening... All right, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, please. Hop in.
Jump in, guys. Go ahead. Say hi.
Hello. Hey.
Keep going, Jerron. Go.
On our show this evening are two spectacular guests. Tyler Edlin, art lead with Intern Pursuit Game and previous intern with Pivot Business Consulting. And Tatenda... I should have gone over this.
Tell them how to say your last name.
Dhilwayo? Oh, Dhilwayo?
Say it again.
Dhilwayo.
Dhilwayo.
Tatenda Dhilwayo.
Yeah.
Character artist intern for Intern Pursuit Game. Also, for a reminder to our listeners, you can now call us live on air. The phone number is 407-582-2906. You can also chat with us online through Intern Pursuit's Facebook live chat.
Coming up in this episode of the Intern Whisperer Live, we're going to be talking about internship stories, great leaders, innovation and gaming industry, and the best video games.
Okay, so how can people find us? This is just really going to be very interesting because Wednesday night is the 4th of July. And I think in all fairness, we should tell our listeners that this is a pre-recorded show that we will be playing just like it's live. So please do not call us on Wednesday night. Please do not think that we are ignoring you when you go and you start chatting with us. We will reply back, but it may not be.
I'm sorry, Aunt Darlene.
Yeah, Aunt Darlene and Aunt Cynthia. But we will be responsive. Anyway, so how can people find us? Pivot Business Consulting. You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. And Intern Pursuit Software. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and our game on Facebook and also on Twitter. And you can listen to us live on mixlr.com/Valencia College Radio.
That was impressive. Right? Yeah, that was amazing.
You're looking at me like...
Well, I was doing the same thing. I was like,
wow,
she's on a roll.
Yeah.
I'm on a roll. Keep it going.
You memorize
right?
the script.
So...
And let's keep the script going.
Yeah, keep
our
it going.
First sponsor.
And you know what? It was all because of that little thing where the guys jumped in. It was so spontaneous. It gave us a whole different perspective here. Anyway, you can call us live, but not next week. Make sure it's the following week. And I turn it over now to Jerron.
All right, and let's talk about our first sponsor, Florida Patient Association. Florida Patient Association, whose mission is to bring support and services to patients in the state of Florida. If you have not received the help and support you need from an injury in the healthcare industry, contact Florida Patient Association for guidance on your rights. Thank you, Florida Patient Association, for sponsoring the Intern Whisperer Live.
All right, so we're back now. And so I never get tired of listening to our game music, and it's always one of my favorite things to be able to have on here. And tonight, we also have two key people that are working on the game. And it is Tatenda, and I'm going to slaughter his name again. Dhilwayo? Dhilwayo?
Yep. Dhilwayo.
You're so funny. You're so funny. You're so kind. Anyway, he's a character artist intern with Intern Pursuit Game. He attends Valencia College. He's in their fine art program. He is an international student from Zimbabwe. And guys and listeners, he is actually in Zimbabwe right now. The most international we can possibly be because he's on the other side of the world from us now. And he's speaking with us. Tatenda is one of the owners and the lead animator with Bako Animation Studio in Zimbabwe. And he also has a diploma in animation from the Animation School in Johannesburg. So, welcome. Yay, I'm glad you're here.
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
And there is a 6-hour time difference for our listeners, right?
Yep, that's right.
So right now, it is 12:30 in the evening for you.
Yep.
But Tatenda doesn't need sleep.
Apparently not. And look, it's broad daylight, it looks like. So what the heck? Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things. I'm going to kind of go maybe out of script because this is an international thing. So what has it been like to be an international student? And then I'm going to turn the tables, and then how many Americans come to Zimbabwe to go to school? That one wasn't on the list.
Oh, okay. Well, to be honest, like when I actually like I've been actually wanting to be like to go to like America for a very long time. I think since 2009 actually, I've been trying to come to America, but it hasn't worked out because like the visa processes and all of that like it's a bit difficult. But I mean, in 2017, I actually managed to come there. It's like it's been like a dream come true because like there are so many opportunities there. And just going to your question about Americans coming to Zimbabwe, I actually don't think I actually know that because like I don't even have any friends who are Americans who are in Zimbabwe, so I actually don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people come to this country to go to school, and some might go to Europe, I think. But
Yeah, for study abroad for sure.
yeah, for
Go to
study
Europe,
abroad.
most of
but
Europe.
it would be interesting to know if there's any Americans that show up and go to school there. It could have happened. You never know.
I'm sure it
There's always
has.
someone.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
So why did you choose Valencia out of all
So
of the schools?
Yeah. So initially like I said, like I've been applying since 2009. But the actually happened was that when I went, like, actually applied through Full Sail University, and when I actually visited Full Sail University when I came to America, I realized that I think 75% of the stuff that I was supposed to learn there, I had already done it at the animation school in Johannesburg. Actually, it's Cape Town, like it's called the animation school Cape Town. So 75% of the stuff I had already done it already. So I decided since I wanted to focus on characters, like I might as well do a fine arts course because I've never actually had like I've done a fine arts course like like fine arts. So since Valencia was also close to where I was staying, I figured that's the best choice for me.
And it doesn't hurt that it was probably, I don't know, about a quarter of the cost of Full Sail. And I love
That's
Full Sail.
true. That's very true.
Yeah. So that was a huge savings. And I think the addition of fine art, I don't know about you guys, but I think fine art, when you're working in the space of graphic design and in game development, is always a wonderful skill to have because, or at least the knowledge, because it's a very different perspective. I know when I see Taylor was an artist. And there's a difference, the graphic designers will tell me this, there's a difference between artists and graphic design. And I understand what they're talking about, but I'm going to let you explain that one because you're in the fine art program. How's it different?
So, like you mean like the differences, or?
Yeah. Why do you think fine art could be an addition? It's a plus for being able to have that on your resume and what it can do with the art that you're doing?
Okay, so I think actually, to be honest, fine arts, it's like for me at least, you explore your creativity because any type of art, like even graphic design or game art or filming or photography, it's all art. So I feel that like when you're doing a fine arts course, you explore your creativity, and at the same time you're surrounded by people who are kind of doing the same thing when they're doing the fine arts course. So I feel like maybe if you're someone who who doesn't know what they want to do or actually who know what they want to do, it either enhances your creativity or like it actually helps you to develop your talent. So I think that's one of the best reason why, like, if you are someone who's into a creative like into the creative business, a fine arts course like really helps you with creativity.
I would agree. Have either of you guys ever taken an art class?
I mean,
I took them in high school, but not since I've reached college.
art class, maybe elementary.
Yeah.
I did
Okay.
theater, so a different kind of art.
Yeah, it is a different kind of
I
art.
did film, so
I took art at University of Florida. I went there 2 years, and they threw all of these. I think I shared this story with somebody else previously. They threw all of these brown paper bags up on the stage, and they said, "Okay, draw them." And brown paper bags are really hard to draw because they crunched them up, so we'd have to get the creases, and we'd have to get the wrinkles and the shading. And my goodness, it was really, really hard. And I had a newfound respect for anybody that was in art because I just went, okay, I am not an artist.
Yeah, my brother's the art major. I was the theater person.
Yeah.
So different kinds of art for both of us.
Yeah, and just like singing and musical instruments, right? Yeah, totally different. So you are the owner, one of the owners. I know you have a partner, right?
Yep.
And why don't you
Yes.
tell us about your business over there in Zimbabwe and tell us what you do?
Okay, so the company is called Bako Animation. I mean, like if you don't know how to pronounce that, that's okay. It's like Bako,
Bako.
but you can say Bako, like that's still fine.
That's an easy one to say, Bako. We can say that one.
Yeah, so like Bako actually means cave. Like it's
Okay.
a Shona term called like it's called cave because like I feel like as animators, because I'm an animator, so like I feel like we kind of like stay like in the cave like for a very long time to produce
Vampires.
animation. So that's how we kind of come up with the name. But basically, when I finished my course in Cape Town, when I came back, I mean, because there are, well, like at least like when I came back, there are no animation studios, you know. So the best choice was to be a freelancer. But then, I mean, I freelanced for a while, but then, you know, I couldn't get like the bigger projects. So for me to get the bigger project, I had to like register a company. And I knew that my brother is a graphic designer. So I decided, hey, you know, we can start a company and we can do both graphic design work and animation work. So pretty much we do things from websites, adverts, animated adverts, editing videos, motion graphics, things of that nature. So that's basically what it is. It's a production house. I think in a nutshell, that's what it is.
That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. Is that, what is the city that you live in there?
It's Harare.
Is that a big
the capital
city?
city. Sorry?
Is that a big city?
Well, now that's like that I've been in America, I'm not sure if it's a big city.
You know how
But
like Orlando is a big city, but there's a bunch of little cities around it, right?
I know. Well, yeah, but then I think, like that's a very tough question. But like it's the biggest city in the country. Um,
Oh.
I mean, but then when I like now my judgment is a bit flawed because now I've been in Orlando and New York, so now my scale has changed.
They have
So,
1.5.
but then comparing Harare to Orlando, I think Harare is like probably a third or a quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Harare's 1.5 million people.
1.5 million people. That's a lot of people.
Yep.
That sounds like a
compressed.
big city, but
Yeah,
Probably.
but yeah, like it's a lot of people, but then it's not big. Like it's overcrowded.
ah,
Small
Yep.
area, a lot of people.
yeah, a lot of people, population dense. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty cool. What is a client that you've worked on recently? What did you do? Because you said you do advertising, right? Adverts.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
have you ever done like any little short movies or anything?
Actually, I think like I want to talk about the like when you say like the recent project we did. I think I'm gonna talk about the project we did in 2015 because like that was actually like the project that I've always wanted to do. Like it was an advert for the company is called Pro Brands. So they sell chips, like basically it's like a snack, like you know like Lay's or Doritos. So I basically had to create the characters for their chips and advertise them for our technical cinema. So that was pretty much like the best project that I've worked on recently because the projects that we have been doing in between are not really focused on animation because most companies here they don't necessarily have like the kind of budget for those kind of projects to the point that like even when we did that project like it was actually for like a very low budget but we still do those projects because we feel I mean it's our passion so like we still do like did those projects because you know it kind of like helps with our portfolio as well
Oh yeah.
but then yeah but most of the time when we try to do the project it doesn't really work out because they want the project like really fast and they don't really most companies don't really understand how long it takes. So we kind of have to cut corners most of the time. But I think that Probrance project was the best project we've ever worked on in 2015.
Very good.
That sounds like a very
Yeah.
interesting project, actually.
Yeah,
Being
it
able to
is.
make, caricatures. I don't. Was it more like when you say that you made them characters? Was it like an individual personality for each one that you made, or was it more?
Yeah,
Like,
so there were actually like 4 flavors. There was I don't know what you call it, like it's a corn. So like I kind of modeled like a maize corn,
okay,
like
like a corn
into a
chip. Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the other character was I'm not sure what you call it, but it's like a Mexican flavor. So the guy was like
Jalapeno.
like a cowboy, but then with with 2 guns basically.
Oh, okay. Like
So it was like a
sriracha.
mixed, yeah.
Like sriracha, probably.
And then the other one, like it was actually like a chicken, because like it's a chicken flavor as well. So like I modeled like a little chicken.
Chips that are chicken flavor?
Oh yeah.
That's not something we really have in the U.S., but sounds good. I'd eat it.
Yeah.
Well, like most snacks here, like they have chicken flavors. Like most of it, like it's either like beef or chicken flavor.
Okay, you're going to have to bring those back with you to the United States because we want to try
Oh.
those. A little
I'll
bag.
We'll do
I'll
it live
do
on the
that.
show.
Yeah, you'll come on to the show and we'll do a taste testing of it.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll actually bring like all the flavors.
What was the chip brand called?
Pro brands. Like it's called Pro Brand Snacks. Like if you go on YouTube, if you type in Pro Brands Snack Attack, like that's what it's called. Pro Brands Snack Attack.
Okay, thank you. Look it up.
Hmm
We're looking it up now.
Oh, I
Oh,
see
yeah.
it right there. If I play it, it'll be very loud, and I don't want to.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, is it on
right
mute? Okay.
now. Yeah, because you know what? I can't find it on the regular channel, so like on the Google search, I'm not doing something right. That's interesting. Okay, so you're working with us on the game, though. So in the internship, tell us what it is, or tell our listeners what it is that you're working on for the game. Because we had to make sure it was I had to make sure it was fulfilling on the requirements that the school wanted you to do, which was illustration, right? And it's something that we needed. And so we found a happy medium between that. So what is it that you're doing? Tell all of our listeners what you're working on.
All right. So my position is a character artist. So I'm actually working on the two characters, the robot characters. I'm working on the concepts of those characters to come up with some designs of the characters, and also I'm working on 2 environment concepts, like as well for the game, on how like on the certain levels that the game will be on. So it's actually the 2 characters and the 2 environments, just the concept art that I'm working on.
Did you see the I inserted in the Skype call this morning? Did you see all of the environments that I put in there?
No, I'm afraid not. No.
Okay, so go check out the Skype, just whenever it's convenient for you, the Skype game
Okay.
call, because there were these pictures that came out of a National Geographic this year that were award-winning, and they were amazing. And one of them is a place that's in Italy, and honest to goodness, it looks like it's from another planet. But each one of those things was different, and I thought it would be kind of a cool inspiration, so that's why I was posting it for the game call tonight, so that we could talk about them. So check them out and let me know what you think.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so we've got some hashtags here, but I don't know, what hashtag do you use for your company also? Because I want to make sure that is it just the name of your company, or is there something that...
It's Baku Animation, like just Baku Animation.
Okay, I'm adding it to the list. Very cool. And then what leaders have inspired you? We always talk about leadership here, and we always want to give a special shout out to people living or dead that have inspired us to greatness, to help shape and mold our thinking. So who are your leaders? And it can be 1 or up to 3.
Yeah, actually, like, it's a lot of leaders, but I'm going to stick to one.
Okay.
Like, his name is Eric Thomas. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. Um, like, Eric Thomas is a motivational speaker. I mean, just, to get the idea of him. But I think the most important thing that he has taught me and that he continues to teach me is, uh, like, he calls it grinding. Um, you know, when when you're like in life, like when you're going through stuff in life, most of the time you think that you can't actually do something in your life, or maybe you get discouraged, or people that are in your life, they discourage you. But then whenever I started listening to Eric Thomas, I actually believe that I can actually fly from Zimbabwe to America, and actually now I'm talking to people that are in America right now. Like, it was like a vision for me before, but I feel like he made me believe that I can actually do it, even though there were odds. I mean, I've been trying to go to America since 2009, and I only managed to go to America in 2017. I mean, that's 8 years later. So I think he kept uh, giving me hope, and he kept me believing in myself. So that's why I think like he's like one of my greatest leaders.
I liked what was on his website. You have to want something as much as you want to breathe.
Oh yeah.
That's like,
Yep.
that's truly, I can
That
relate to that.
Oh yeah, like that's like actually like it was actually a video that he did when he was saying that like actually like this kid wanted to be successful, and he held the kid down underwater, like, because the kid was saying, I want to learn how to make money, I want to learn how to be successful. So he held the kid underwater, and the kid was struggling, like he wanted to breathe. So when he got the kid out, he asked him like, when you were down there, what did you want to do? And he said, I wanted to, and then I said, okay, so if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. So like, I think that's like his motto for everything. Like, I've always kept that in my heart, and like it really helps a lot.
Yeah, that is a good one. Except I'm
Mhm.
wondering where that child's mother was, because
Yeah.
she should have been going, get my kid, let him up. That's one of those things.
Maybe
that,
she's
oh
the
my
one who
God.
told him to do it.
That was a dangerous lesson.
I know. Like, I don't even know if I do that to my, well, gosh, if you did that to your own kid, they'd take it away from
Yeah.
you. You wouldn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
have a kid. Yeah. Anyway, well, that is really good. So I know that we're going to be, you're going to be going to bed because this is super late for you. So thank you for being on our
Yep.
show. Are there any shout outs that you'd like to give? Your brother?
Oh yeah. I actually want to give like a shout out to my brother, because like without him, I don't think I'll be in the animation industry. He has like opened doors for me, because he has showed me like this industry. So I can definitely say it's because of him. Like, his name is Rufaro Dhilwayo. He's my brother. And also, like, since I'm here, I can also say I want to thank my girlfriend Michelle, right? I mean, she's been just supporting me ever since. I mean, we've been together for 5 years now. So I'm just want to give a shout out to her as well.
Hmm. I expect to see
Yeah.
them come running behind you, like right behind you.
Or-
Hello, like bombing the picture, so to speak. Yeah,
Oh wow.
that would have been good. It would have been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and I will see you soon when you get back here.
And don't forget to
Oh,
bring
yeah.
the snacks.
Yeah, yeah. Jerron wants snacks. We all do. Okay, so thank you. We're going to take a little sponsor break, and then we're going to come back and talk to Tyler.
Yes, and that sponsor is Affiliate Manager. Affiliate Manager offers a complete management service that covers all aspects of developing and optimizing an affiliate program. Not only do we provide expertise, identify high potential opportunities, and execute campaigns to maximize performance, we make it a point to require minimal work from our merchant partners. You can reach them at affiliatemanager.com. Thank you, Affiliate Manager, for sponsoring the Intern Whisperer Live.
All right, so Tyler, are we going to show the poster?
We already have.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Oh, so people are seeing that?
Not right now, but they have.
Like back and
Now
forth.
they will right
Back and
now.
forth.
Okay.
Now it's up again.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. So Tyler is incognito, so our viewers are not going to be able to, and listeners are not, well, viewers are not going to be able to see Tyler's image. However, hopefully you're seeing a picture of the game. That'll be the game poster. And Tyler is a graduate from Full Sail University. He has both a bachelor's in game art and a master's in game design. He works as a technical drawing manager at Feld Entertainment in Palmetto. So, welcome, Tyler.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, he's just the voice. And guys, he has radio voice also.
Oh, my rival.
Yeah, he is. He can really do good radio voice. I know that was one of the things that impressed me when I met him, too. So, you have 2 degrees. Why did you choose gaming?
I chose gaming because I like to play video games back in the day, and I grew up watching Star Wars and stuff like that. So I kind of like the characters that was in gaming and stuff like that, and I kind of like wanted to create characters in games and maybe movies and stuff. So I really wanted to like create creatures and stuff like just things like that in general. So yeah.
So, what's your favorite game? This was not
My
on the
favorite
list.
game, I would have to say Fallout 4. It's a
Fallout
pretty good
4.
game.
You
Fallout
guys
4.
know this game?
Oh,
Yes.
I own it.
Yeah,
You own it,
I'm a big
okay.
fan of the series, but I wouldn't say Fallout 4 is my favorite in the series. I
Is
think-
this a war game? It sounds like it.
Well, I
It's
mean,
apocalyptic.
it's apocalyptic. I wouldn't
It's
say
not
it's a
war.
war game.
It's like factions, but it's not war.
Whatever.
A lot of gaming terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll sit here and I'll say to Tyler, but I play Panda Pops, and that's not a real game. And so then I found another game, and it's Tri-Peaks Solitaire, and so I was showing them that game, and I was hoping that I had gained their respect, because now it's not Panda Pops, it's something else. I don't think so. Yeah. So that's pretty good. So you like Full Sail so very, very much, Tyler. You chose to go there a second time.
Yes, I did. My mom kind of encouraged me because I was originally what I was going to do was just like get my bachelor's degree and then essentially just kind of like look for jobs and stuff like that in the field. And then my mom kind of like recommended me to check this out, and I kind of listened to people at Full Sail and I checked it out. It looked pretty promising, so I went and did my game design masters, and some parts of it I liked, some parts of it I didn't, but overall I did learn a lot, but I did have some tough times while going through the school and try to persevere against all the odds. But overall, I met a lot of people, a lot of good teachers and stuff at Full Sail, and kind of proud that I actually did both degrees.
I am
Yeah.
too. He is one of the most knowledgeable people. When he talks about gaming, I can put him up there in front of anybody, and I think he has a great depth of knowledge, and it translates because he lives and breathes the gaming industry. It's one of his best strong suits, since it's his profession. He's so passionate about it. So you did one of your internships was with Pivot. Why don't you tell our listeners what it is that you started doing when you first came in? And goodness gracious, this is important. Tyler and I have worked together for 2 years now. So that's
Okay.
a long time.
That is a long time.
Yeah, that is a long time. So we've been through a lot together, and he's worked on different types of work. So why don't you tell our listeners what it is that you've done?
When I first came to Pivot, I kind of met the people that worked at Pivot. Met Isabella, of course. Nice person. Essentially, my first project I worked on was with Guard Dog Valves, but I was also coming up with some ideas for Intern Pursuit, and originally I think we were going to take the game 2D, but we decided to go with 3D because we ended up having some programmers with some knowledge on C++ and some C# and stuff, and they got a little bit of experience through Unity as well as a couple other engines. So regarding to the Guard Dog Valve project, we kind of like worked together as a team. Sean and I essentially worked on the project. I would do all the modeling stuff, and then Sean would do the animation, the camera stuff, as well as the rendering stuff. And we just essentially just kind of worked together as a team, virtually, not really like working at a studio, so we did get a lot of stuff done. That doing it virtually is a little bit harder than working it.
Sure
Like,
is. Because
on
what
my
people
coaching.
didn't know, right, is that Sean was in Texas. And Sean was one of, they always need to know this kind of stuff too, Tyler, so sorry for interrupting you there. Sean was a classmate of Tyler's. Yeah. So they made the most amazing, tell them what you ended up having to learn in that video. Because there were things that you guys didn't know how to do.
Technical or more of like regarding the actual subject that we were working on for the
It
project?
was the industry for sure. I know you guys had to learn the industry. We were all learning that.
Okay, I know Sean has a little bit of experience with plumbing, so I did kind of learn some stuff that kind of went regarding the stuff that we were working with, regarding more of like a valve and stuff like that that would be kind of used for like essentially the project that we were working on. And I did learn a little bit about essentially kind of a little bit about how some of the stuff would function and stuff regarding how essentially a toilet would work and then like essentially a valve would work and stuff. And that's something I never really knew a lot about. And did learn a little bit more about rendering. I didn't have a good computer at the time. It was pretty bad. It crashed 24/7. So eventually I ended up getting a new computer. A lot of times I rage quit, and it was pretty much most of my frustrations was on the computer at the time. So
That's true, too. That was
yeah, so yeah, rendering would take days, and when you can have a better computer, it would work a little bit better. So yeah.
Yeah, he acquired the gift of patience.
Yeah.
I
That
bet.
was the gift that he got to have. Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. And then we did you also work on World Housing?
I worked on World Housing.
Yeah,
Did a
and
little
that's
bit of the environment
the defense
stuff.
industry.
And I did a little bit of the vehicles, the weapons, and mainly the vehicles were kind of kept for a couple passes, but did kind of come up with the snow environment that was kind of put aside for other uses, or essentially. So I did a couple stuff here and there, but mainly I put a little bit of my 2 cents into the project. I did work on Herbalic schools, but I was mainly focusing on the game at the time. So what I did was Sean kind of created the concept of, was it Vita?
Vita,
Was
yeah.
it Vita? Yeah, yeah. I kind of modeled up the character and did essentially a basic rigging that I extracted through Meximo, fixed it up, tweaked it a little bit, added a couple joints for facial rig. So basically Sean would do the animation stuff. And I did kind of like look at a couple of the references and kind of model the bicycle or it's like a no, it wasn't a tricycle.
It was a tricycle, yeah.
Oh, it was a tricycle, yeah.
Yeah.
So that essentially it would be rigged, and essentially I would hand it to either Sean, Celeste, or anybody else who was working on the project. I think Tim might have been working on the project as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And so then he came in and we started really beginning to plan out what the game was. And he was very good at being able to plan and get a technical specification document put together. But I can honestly tell you, I did not know what I did not know. And so he was leap years ahead of me because he had this background. I only knew that I wanted a fun game. And so then it was like we kind of grew up together in this project. And that's why now it's really become what it's supposed to be. And it's still morphing.
It's like you had the vision, but he carried out like everything else.
Yeah. So definitely Tyler's gifts of being able to make this become a reality was key. He brought in a lot of the people that are still with us, like Aaron McDonald, who's been on the show before too, and Alex. He didn't bring Alex in, but Alex has been around 2 years also. So really a lot of fun. Okay, so let's see here. What is the best innovation in 3D in the game industry that you've seen that has come through? It's from when you got out of school to where you are now.
That's a good question. Well, I have to say a lot of the story developments in games, as well as the originality that's put in the games, because a lot of people, when they play a game, sometimes it's got the same theme or same genre and stuff like that, and it's basically the same game, kind of repetitive. And essentially, there's games out there that come up with like different choices in the story like that, kind of like Heavy Rain and a couple other games that kind of progressed. And there's other games that pretty much the same makers would create, and essentially it's got like pretty good story, good game mechanics, and essentially it gets you merged in the game. And what I like about games nowadays is that like the game industry is growing, and there's a lot of new technology as well as stuff implemented in the story that was kind of like new compared to some of the other games at its time. So you got games like No Man's Sky, which they have pretty much a planet algorithm thing. The game wasn't like a huge success like everybody wanted it to be, but it had some really good stuff in the game that other companies probably couldn't even come up with at the time. And there's a couple new games coming out, and with game mechanics as well as stuff in the story that essentially sells and people want to play. So I have to say originality in game in all aspects, like either it's the story, the game mechanics, or essentially the overall like vibe of the game. And there's a lot of stuff that you can talk about that's in the industry that a lot of people either like or don't like, and that's something I like about it. So
Yeah, we could go on for what
I
are
know,
good
right?
video
I
games
was
for
gonna say.
hours. Yeah.
I'll say
Yeah.
only because you're mentioning story. Which video game has the best story to you?
that's a good question. There's a lot of good games that came out in the past, but I have to say when I started kind of like getting into a couple new games and a couple games, I was kind of intrigued with Heavy Rain at the time. That came out around maybe like 2009, 2010. I can't remember, but I did like the option that you could do within the game. Sure, the game mechanics probably wasn't like your typical like shooter or other game, but
Right.
it was the story is what kind of sold me on the game, and essentially kind of like helped me decide, okay, I want to do games and stuff. But there's a lot of good games that have good game mechanics. Like Star Wars Battlefront 2 was a pretty fun game at the time. I'm talking about the old one. The new one's all right, but yeah. So there's a lot of good games out there, but and then I would have to say Fallout 4's got a pretty good story, you know.
Did you play Detroit Become Human? I know it's by the same people who made
I
Heavy Rain.
did.
How did you
I
feel
thought
about
the
that
was
game?
really good.
Yeah, it was a great game. I played that recently. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's actually another game I liked that was done by Quantum Dream, as well as they did a horror game which was Until Dawn, which was a really good.
That was super massive, actually.
Yeah, that game was fun.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, that was a good time.
yeah.
What was the
Great
old
game.
school game that we were talking about last week? You said that you wanted, oh my God, I want to play that game. Was it Pokemon?
I'm trying to figure that out. It
Well, I
might have
guess
been,
not, because I said that one and that wasn't it. We saw, it was what Luke, he showed the pictures of some of the artwork, and you said, oh my God, I want to play this game. Now, I did not play the game, I can tell.
Oh, yeah, it was in a game I played. It was some Pokemon game that
is
he
Pokemon.
showed. It had like different types of Pokemons and stuff like that. So essentially, it was like a character select menu and stuff.
Yeah.
I just looked at it. I'm just like, well, this looks pretty intriguing. How they kind of set up like essentially the interface and all the characters, the visuals. And I was like, I don't really play Pokemon. I did play card games at the time when I played Pokemon, and I thought it was kind of pretty awesome way that they displayed everything, and like it's got the cute stuff, it's got the cool stuff, and I thought it was visually appealing when you look at it. So yeah.
Well, and then what have you learned? You've had several internships. This was not the only one that you had with me. What is it that you would say was the best thing that you got out of that? What I learned from that experience, or collectively, if you were to group them all together, what is it that you got out of the internship experience? Because it's hard, guys, to get a job in this industry. It is really hard. And especially, it's so competitive, and it's just the same as like programming. They expect you to have 3 years of experience before they'll even look at you. So how do you get 3 years of experience? You do a lot of internships, and that's what Tyler was doing. So what lessons would you like to share with our listeners about that?
I say essentially just work hard at these internships. Like it's kind of hard to find a job nowadays. Hopefully it's improving, but within your field. So essentially, just keep on working hard, finishing strong at whatever you do, and then try to become more of a generalist when you go into these internships, because sometimes the field that you're in, it's kind of hard to find. So find stuff that's within your kind of like field, either it's art or whatever it is, and like pick up like environment art, character art, animation, rigging, like kind of like stuff that you'd be for a generalist, and just kind of like apply that into the field. Sometimes picking like 2 or 3 is always good. Don't go too far, but since you just kind of like work on those and just kind of like improve and try to just essentially master or essentially get a good grasp of what you do. Either it's like technical or visually. So, yeah.
Cool. And then the last question I'm going to be asking you is, what leaders have inspired you?
That's a good question. There's a lot of good leaders that inspired me. But in terms of personally, I have to say my mom. She inspired me a lot. She was a really good caregiver. She was very strong. She essentially helped me in like harsh situations when I was always down, and even when I was sick, she helped me, kind of persevere and just kind of like have faith. And some times where it was kind of like hard for me from time to time, and without my mom, I probably wouldn't like kind of like be where I'm at today. But yeah, and then I like to think essentially my dad is a good leader. Essentially, what I liked about my dad's qualities is that my dad, essentially, he's a hard worker. He would essentially just work nonstop to provide for his family, and he's a loving father like my mom, and essentially he would always try to do the best he can do. He has his hiccups now and then, but overall he tries to be the best person he can be. And then my third one, since the 4th of July is coming up, I would have to say, in terms of history, there are a lot of good leaders in American history as well as in other countries as well. But I have to say General Sherman. Have you ever heard of General Sherman?
Yep.
Oh, you have? Okay. So he was basically a Union general like during the Civil War, which was like a bad time in American history. And he was a leader that essentially kind of persevered against all the odds. It was kind of rough at the time. So he did a lot of stuff that had a little bit of controversy back in the day, but essentially kind of like took the criticism and just kind of like went with it, and then essentially did the best he could. Like there's some stuff that was kind of like a little bit, controversial, but he was able to kind of take essentially a couple like of the opposition side, which was the South, the Confederates, a couple essentially states as well as cities essentially. And one of the things is the March of the Sea, which is a very controversial time in American history. But without like a couple of his leadership tactics, essentially the Union would have probably been a little bit delayed for their victory. So it's essentially kind of like a little bit of the turning point, even though the Gettysburg was a turning point. So yeah.
That's pretty good. All right. Well, it is the end of our show, and so I want to give thanks to Valencia College for letting us be at this great studio. We always love being here. Thanks to Q for being our manager. And I want to give thanks to these two guys that sit across from me. They make it so easy for me to be able to come in here. I give thanks to all of our radio peeps, our listeners for sure, my marketing people, just like the software, it just goes on and on. So, and a special shout out to Gonzalo and Ariel, who have been immensely helpful with the baby developers.
And who was the designer of our poster as well for the video?
Oh, Taylor Huff, previous guest on our show. Yes, Very beautiful. So shout outs to all of those people.
For me, just thank you to my family. I hope you're all listening. I don't know, because this is pre-recorded, as we said earlier. So thank you all for listening. Thank you to our two guests tonight. It was a great show. Glad that you were able to come on. Happy to have you. And as always, thank you to Isabella for having us, because let us do what we do.
Of course, always thank you to Isabella. Thank you to my family, my aunts, my mom, anyone who watches the show. My whole family are the biggest fans of the show.
Yeah, and I saw that last week we had somebody from, I know that your family was
it your
listening.
mom? I saw someone make a comment. I did see that as well.
Your last name showed up there on the feed.
I think
so.
it might have been your mom.
It probably was.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
check
she's
the
listening.
Facebook. Yeah, she's listening. She
Yeah,
told me she
Val.
did listen. I don't
Yeah.
know if she
So
remembered her
you
comment.
got to make sure that you acknowledge your mom, because she was like, she tuned in last week.
We will watch it. I
It
didn't
wasn't
see.
live.
It wasn't
like,
live. It must have been
she
after.
did it after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'll keep looking.
yeah,
She's out there.
very good.
Well, thanks, Val's mom.
Yeah,
And
thank
thank
you.
you, of course, to our guests as well.
Yep, and so all of our listeners, look for us on all of our social channels, Intern Pursuit Game, Intern Pursuit Software, Pivot Business Consulting, and then listen to us on MixLR.
And let's end the show just like how we started with this is Duran, this is Val, and let's include Tyler as well. Are you ready, Tyler?
Yeah.
All right, you can start it off.
Oh, who I'm thankful for? Or?
Oh, I'll start it. You'll catch on. This is Duran.
Oh, this is Tyler.
This is Val.
And this is Isabella. Thank you for listening to our show tonight.
And there's Tatenda out there as well.
And Tatenda, he's out there. He's somewhere.
Thank you for listening to the Intern Whisperer Live. We'll see you next week.